This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Let's do another little note here from Meltzer. According to the TV trade journals, Fox is considering a 1-hour WWF show for Saturdays at 7 p.m. 4 times after NFL football season. WWF is one of many things being considered according to the article, but no deal is done. Also being considered, supposedly, is a worked karate show using wrestler gimmicks like personalities and interviews produced by former WWF execs Nelson Swegler and Jim Troy, of which 16 episodes have already been filmed in Long Beach. How involved was WWE with this, or is this once Nelson and Jim are already out of the company?
They were already gone out of the company at that point. They had tried to kind of do something off of a show that we were a part of in development, which was going to be the WMAF, the World Martial Arts Federation, but the same storyline. And they essentially took the same concept and tried to do it elsewhere. But it was, it's funny. And I guess wrestlers are like this too. It's just, I've been so heavily involved in the professional wrestling end of things the majority of my life that it's a little surrealistic. And in case you didn't know, Conrad, I'm a 3-time black belt Hall of Famer.
You remind me every week.
Not every week. I don't think I mentioned it at all last week.
I put it in a spot last week, so our fans still heard it, even though you didn't say it.
Okay. Well, I mean, only because it's true.
Sure.
So I've spent my whole life in martial arts, but I never really took it seriously. I took karate because it was the closest thing to wrestling I could do. We didn't have wrestling in Texas. And so when you're dealing with the martial artists, so many of them, even the guys that were the Hollywood stuntmen, took themselves so fucking seriously that once we got into it, and I'm trying to explain to them about how, we want to tell stories and we want, the fights will be choreographed and this is going to be episodic television. It's going to be a 13-week season ending with a big finale that will take us to season 2. Guys not wanting to put other guys over. It was hilarious that I was sitting there with a bunch of guys who had gone from competitively fighting to choreographing in Hollywood to now that they're going to be featured as a fighter in a fictional karate martial arts competition that they didn't want to put guys over that they didn't like in real life or they had fought for real before. I was just dumbfounded because it was some pretty big names that we were talking with and guys that were like, yeah, I'll do it, but I have to win.
Let's take a minute here to talk about a couple other names. Well, first of all, I guess before we talk about the names, we do know that you guys do have some shows that wind up airing on Fox, sort of a spinoff of the old school Saturday Night's Main Event. How many times do you recall, or just talk to us about that Fox relationship? I mean, we know years later, in more recent years, there's going to be a huge deal on the table for WWE. It really locks in their financial future for the foreseeable future. This deal that you guys are under with Fox and SmackDown now that predated you coming back to the company and all that, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying in general, the relationship with the company and Fox. I mean, we know what the relationship was with NBC, especially, much has been written about Ebersol and Vince, and you've talked to us a lot about Bonnie Hammer at USA and Vince. What was the relationship like here with Rupert Murdoch's outfit and Vince?
Rupert and Vince have always had a good relationship, to my knowledge, going way, way back. Rupert and Vince have always gotten along. The Fox deal was experimental on Fox's part. Let's try this. Let's try and do, a sampling of Saturday Night's Main Event. The only problem with Fox and late night television was that Fox, for the most part, their late night went to the local stations. They didn't do a lot of late night programming. So that's where it was difficult. You're trying now to be on the network, and they didn't control what took place after 11 o'clock at night. The local affiliate did.
Right.
And so that's where it became a little kabuki-ish and not as advantageous for us at the time as an NBC that had a late night block on Saturday night and or after local news. So they still controlled their programming after 11:30, and that didn't go to the local affiliates. So that was probably the biggest issue as to why it didn't work and why it didn't go any further than it did.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.